I am here with the amazing Mischelle O'Neal, founder of Mastering Your Monday, a lifestyle enrichment firm. Mischelle teaches highly driven women how to master the process of thought over circumstance. I can't wait to dive into that, so they can start creating powerful ways of fostering balance in their lives, managing the unexpected, because we know there's a whole lot of that, and hold on to sanity so they can focus on the things they value most. She is a thought leader, a change agent, a coach, a speaker, an author, a veteran. Thank you, sister, for your service. And it is just such an honor to be here with you today.
Oh, I am so thrilled to be here. I'm honored, actually, to be on the same stage with you. So thank you for inviting me.
Talk to me a bit about what your December has been like so far.
What has my 2020 been like? I have learned great lessons, really, just about how important self-care. And when I say self-care, I'm talking about putting boundaries in place to give you space. So my December has really been about creating those safe spaces mentally and physically. And it's been real important.
Would you be willing to peel back the curtain a bit on what some of those things are?
Absolutely. For me, my meditation and prayer and time with God has become very important. I found that I can't start my day or process well through my day without it. It's my grounding. It's to put me back into the reality of life and just center me. And so that's something I found that I really need every day. It just refocuses and resets my day. But not only that, I found out that I needed quiet time or time just to reflect, refresh, and regroup. And that time, because there's so much, we are inundated, our minds are physically in every way you can think of, we're just bombarded daily with tasks, to-dos, things that we have to accomplish, people who are vying for our time, TV that is vying for our time, family, work, everything. And there just has to be a time to allow yourself to regroup. And before COVID happened, I had a 2-hour commute I was also working, and I still am, as well as my business. And I had that 2-hour commute to allow myself that time to regroup. Well, when you're working from home and you're with family at home, there's never that break time. And I've realized even more so in December, as we go longer in this process of the pandemic, social unrest, and everything that's going on, I'm finding that we have to create those break times, those boundaries, in order to process and deal with those things.
I'm curious how you evolved into this. Has this been a linear journey for you when you kind of look back and think about your own personal, professional development? Has this ability to really tune in, get grounded, get centered, whatever it means to you, has this always been something that came effortlessly? Has it always been a part of your day, of who you are, of how you function, of how you operate, or did something occur in your life to kind of guide you to this path?
That is so twofold. So part of it is instinctive, but a learned instinctiveness. But my whole business is built on faith, practicality, and introspection. And so what does that mean? The process that I use for my business is built on that. It's the MAT technique. And it's the idea of dealing with mind shifts that have to happen, and then dealing with, your community, your arsenal, everything that you already have. And a lot of times that's stuff that we have, within ourselves. I have a dear friend who tells me, you already have everything you need. And that is so true. And then it's the knowledge and the technology and the techniques and the stuff that we've learned. So it's incorporating all those things. But it did start a long time ago. It started when I was 9 years old. And I think I've shared with you before. It's the story of my mother standing in the doorway, the one person that you think has your back in all things, telling you go out there and take care of it yourself. And what I'm talking about is being that 9-year-old child and facing that there were 3 girls that wanted to beat me up, that didn't like me, and running home saying, Mom, take care of this. And her standing in the door and says, I don't care what you do, but you get a brick or a stick and you get yourself back out there and you fight. And then when she said that, it's looking at her and realizing I got to do this alone, but she's telling me how to do it. And what she did is say, look around you, see what resources you have, see what's available to you, and you pick the thing that you need right now and get back out there. I got your back, but I can't fight your fight for you. And that's what she taught me. So now I've learned to take that process, no matter where I go. What do I already have? What do I have here? What do I have here? And what do I have here that I can take in this battle with me, that I can take in this challenge with me and get in there and fight for what I believe or what I need? And so, yes, in a lot of respects, that is what she taught me. How do I go forward?
Did you ever have a conversation with your mom later in life when you became an adult where you said, Mom, I got to tell you, that moment, that time in history when I was 9 years old, when you said that was such a profound moment for me?
Actually, I think it was 3, maybe 4 years ago. I convinced my brother and my sister. I said, we need to do a video for Mom to tell her the one thing she gave us in our lives that set us up to be the adults that we are now. And that was the one thing that I told her. And we each had something different that Mom had done for us, some impact that she had. And, she didn't even remember that. But the thing is, it was important for me to actually share that with her and let her know how much an impact she made on my life. There's so many times in our lives that people go across our path and we never tell them how important or what the impact is. I know there's a saying about give them their flowers. And so I really believe that we need to give people their flowers before they're not there to get them.
I was watching something on Alex Trebek, who has recently passed, and such a beautiful light. And there was something that was put together that he was able to witness, to bear witness, and have life be spoken into him for all that he has created for the world. And he got to experience this before his passing. And I just thought, what a gift. And then last weekend, I was out on a walk with my mom, and we were just having kind of a deeper conversation, more so than usual than our walks tend to be. But we were talking about her past, and this is her story to tell, not mine. But essentially, I wanted her to understand that the reason, even when I can be a pain in the butt, hard-headed, and so strong in my opinion, I said to her, I am this way because of the gift of confidence you gave to me when you didn't have that. You weren't given that gift growing up, and you gave that to me.
You know, as parents, there's so many times it's the lack of something in our life that we choose to give to our children. I wasn't lacking it, but from witnessing it, my thing with my daughter was she will always know I love her. And so it's been important to me that whenever someone leaves my space, that the last thing they hear me say is, I love you. And it's because of things that I've watched where people never heard those last words, or that's not the last memory. I mean, even when I'm mad, when we're mad at each other and we're talking on the phone and she's like, I'm getting off the phone, Mom. And I said, fine, I love you. Those are the last words that I've always felt was important that a person hear as they leave you.
I'm letting that soak into every cell right now. That is such a beautiful lesson. Anytime, I think, especially this time of year, and always, though. I mean, just to give someone that love in a moment where
it's so many times we have regrets of what we said, or and I hear it over and over. I wish I had said, I wish they knew the last time we talked, we had an argument. But regardless of what the argument is, regardless of the dissension, it doesn't change the love. You cannot like someone right now, but if you love them for who they are, not how they act. So that doesn't change.
oh my gosh, I need to grab the tissues. Oh, so beautiful. How do you, well, actually, I want you to talk to me about the MAT technique first, because I know this is your unique process and methodology that you infuse in the work that you do, and it helps to infuse and activate love on so many levels and things on so many levels for your clients. And you believe that the work happens on the mat, not the gym mat.
Yes.
Although I could argue that helps. But talk to us about this mat technique that you've created.
So you're so true. I believe, I love martial arts. I love fighting, not physically, getting in there and fighting. I've never been a boxer or anything like that, but I loved watching boxing growing up. I love, when I was growing up, I took karate and, I love Bruce Lee and martial arts and Jackie Chan. And I love the art. But if you really think about it, even wrestling, all the real work, all the techniques, all the learning, all that stuff happens on the mat. Is when you step on the mat that the real work starts taking place. And so that's why I came up with the mat technique, because that's where the real work happens. I like to step in the ring with my clients and work on the mat. So the mat actually is the mindset, or actually I'll say the mind shift that happens of the old mindsets. And the A is the arsenal. So if you've ever watched the movie Kingsman, I love Kingsman. When he had to go out on a mission, he walked into this room, and as he looked around, every tool, everything he needed was right there in that room. And all he had to understand is what his mission was, and then take the tools that he needed to accomplish that mission. But he had everything he needed right there. Mm. And then T is the tools and techniques. It's what is it that we have once you evaluate your arsenal? What is it that I have? And what is it that I'm missing? And is it something I can learn or take with me? Is it a new technique I can learn? Is it a new tool I can pick up? Is it a new knowledge that I need to bring into play? What is it that I'm missing, and what can I do to learn it or gather it, get it? So that's what the MAT technique is. So we start with the mind shifts and the mindset. So what is that? We have to currently examine where we are. Where are we sitting right now? And what is it that we want to change? And then start looking at your behavior. Why do I act this certain way? Because there are certain things we do that are ingrained because of something from our past, old patterns that we have from our past. And so why do I always get snappy when someone asks me this? Oh, well, let's look a little further back. What did that come from? Because there's a mind shift that needs to happen. Just because it's happened before doesn't mean this is how everybody else means it. So what do I need to change? And then we have to look at the healthy mindsets, the healthy patterns that we have. And one of my healthy patterns is the pattern of the MAT technique that my mom gave me. So how do I use that to assess every situation? What do I already have to go into this? Pandemic. Okay, what do I already know that's going to help me with this? What do I do? What in my home can I use? So these are things that we take with us. And then there's the arsenal. What are your resources? So you have to look at it. What do I know? What have I learned? What experiences can I bring with me that I already know? What knowledge do I have? What community do I already have? Who's my doctor? Who's my accountant? Who's my front row? Who are those people that are my mentors or my family members that I can rely on or lean on to help me in these times of need? Because we have to reach out to our community that we have in place and gain new members in our community that can help us. So that's how you build your arsenal. You build it outwardly and inwardly. And then the third thing is, okay, now that I've looked at these two things, what am I missing? What can I learn? What piece of knowledge can I gain and master? So that's what the MAT technique is.
It's really empowering people to live as the victor of their life, not the victim, right? To take personal responsibility, to tap into their resourcefulness. And it's so easy in a time like now, especially, to be kind of in fear mode, in scarcity mode, in lack mode, looking at what's not working, what you don't have. And the reality is, many of us are generally more resourced. Most of us are more resourced than we really are connecting to or having awareness around.
And that's what it is. It's a learned technique. And that's what I do. I don't want to be there for you forever. I want to teach you to fish so you can eat continually. So once you learn this, and I'm always there to help my clients to work through, because sometimes you can't see that this works in every situation. I mean, it's sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. But if you know that this is the process you need to think through, then you can do it. And I want it to become almost like stop, drop, and roll. Remember how we learned that as kids? And You knew that if it was a fire, this is the process I had to go through. And so, Matt, M-A-T, I want you to realize, okay, what's holding me up here? What am I not letting myself process through here? It needs to become instinctive. And that's what I teach my clients. I want them to learn this where it's like the back of her hand. Oh gosh, this happened. So-and-so did this. How do I get through this? Matt, okay, what can I change? And I want it to be your stop, drop, and roll.
Mm. Does that mean that in your process, when you complete the teaching and the coaching, when that container finishes, is your goal that your clients will be ready to fly, good to go, and it kind of finishes and they go off and spread their wings and are just rocking life?
I would hope so. But it's like anything in life, we need to repeat. And sometimes, I know, so many times in your life, you go back to the doctor, even though you have a dietitian, she teaches you how to eat correctly. How many times have we started Weight Watchers or whatever, and you do great, and then you stop the meetings or you stop whatever, and you got to go back. And not that I want you to have to come back, but you do. You need someone to refresh you, to show you that what you're going through now, and we do this so much in life. What we're going through now, we don't see how it's the same as what we went through before. It's always, but this is different. This is new, but the process still works. And sometimes we need someone to show us that this process here still works here. Mm-hmm. And so we always need each other. We always need the doctor. We always need Weight Watchers or whatever. But it's a little easier each time if you know the process.
Yeah, absolutely. You're constantly upping your baseline in a way. And we're all meant to be evolving, growing beings. And so I know for my clients who some come in and join me for a month and we get really intensive and roll up the sleeves. And usually the momentum happens, sure, in that container, but a lot of the goods are showing up 2 months, 3 months, 6 months after that initial container. And so I think I love how you say it's helping show people how to fish and find the fish, and then creating that space for there to be that continued evolution.
Exactly, growth. Okay, so speaking of fish, it just made me think of something. When we fish, you learn how to fish, but there's a mastery of that fishing. There's learning about the right lure, or learning about the right cast, or learning, and you get better and better as you go along. And your mentor comes and teach you something different each time, a new way to look at it, a new way to use it, even a new fish that you can find. Mm-hmm. But it just because you know how to fish doesn't mean you stop there.
Do you tend to have the same mentors for a long period of time, or are you someone that kind of changes it up every few months or every year, or how? I'm curious how that looks for you.
I have 2 mentors that I've had, one for 3 years, and they're actually my coaches. I have 2 coaches, one for 3 years, one for 2 years now. And you'd say, you didn't get it yet? I'm at different spaces at different times of my walk. And sometimes the thing that they told me at the beginning, I don't get to now. Yeah. So not only do I grow, but the information evolves based on my growth. Mm. There's something new and different for me to learn based on my pivot and based on the season that I'm in. And I know one of them, I know she, you know, how do I say, God speaks to her. And I know what she tells me is for me. And the other one, I was so bent on, this is my process. I want you to teach me this, but I'm only going to use it in reference to what I'm doing. I wasn't open to learning what she had to tell me. And it wasn't until just last weekend that some of the stuff she told me in the very beginning, I'm getting now, because I'm open to listening to what she has to say and stop closing her down because of what I wanted to accomplish.
I want to just let that land for a minute. There's so much wisdom in what you just shared. And I know that that is going to be such a spark for some people. I think it's really important to talk about these things. I think that it helps reveal to possibly those who aspire to follow in your footsteps or someone else's footsteps or whoever it may be, to really understand what we're doing to grow our businesses, to evolve ourselves personally, professionally. And it's really helpful to hear you speak to it and share your unique perspective. I personally just signed my third coach.
Wow.
And it feels so expansive. And there will be many people that think that is totally crazy. And there will be people that fully align and get it. And I think it's so important to just kind of share what we're doing, because it's really, it always comes back to following your own internal desire, your own internal truth, whatever you need to connect, to drop into a deeper level of your calling, really.
Exactly. There are two things, and when you were speaking, there are two things I have to hit on. And one of them was when we were talking about the coach I've had for 3 years. It's her insight that has pushed me outside of anything I thought I could accomplish. It's my obedience to her insight that has allowed me to grow. And that was a simple thing of, I know where she's coming from. So when she tells me to do something, I know that I need to act on it. And one of the first things she said is, you need to write a book. I don't want to write a book. She says, you have this, this, and this, write. And I said, okay. I did it scared, but I did it. And the second book, she says, okay, you're telling me this. That's your second book. Write it. And I did. And each time I've grown tremendously. And the second thing I want to make sure everyone understand, there is nothing you can't do in and of yourself. However, if you're like me, I hate taking a long time to do something. If you want to get there right, and if you want to get there faster, you need coaches. You can do it alone, or you can do it faster with someone else. And I learned that really this year. It was big. It was like, even for my cover of my book, I have graphic design background, and I could have sat there and did it myself and labor over the love of creating my own cover, or I put that in someone else's hand and gave it away.
Yes. I was in a 2-day meeting this week with some peers and a mentor, and one of the women shared this insight she had, and she said, you know what? I'm a midwife. Why am I sitting there designing my own website? I should be delivering more babies. And it was this distinction for her and for everyone else to really, really get that we are going to be, and I know that your clients are driven, ambitious people. Mine tend to be as well. And we are scrappy entrepreneurs. We'll roll up our sleeves and be the first one to try and get the thing done. But it's really leveraging your time and your energy and your talent appropriately. Because when you can do more of the stuff that only you can do, that's when you're creating more impact. You're increasing your income to be able to pay for the support you need to get the stuff that you don't need to be doing done.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You know, I truly believe each one of us was created for purpose. And when I'm doing somebody else's purpose, I am failing in mine.
Can you repeat
that,
please? we need to repeat.
When I'm living in someone else's purpose, I am failing in mine. Yeah. And so I'm learning that is where I'm sitting.
What is on purpose for Mischelle in this coming year?
Someone asked me, what does a person get when they finish working with you? And that was a hard thing I really had to sit with that. What did I want someone to walk away with when they walked away from me? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm wearing right now. I want every woman to know that she is cherished. Not just loved, but cherished. Mm. That she's fierce, that she leads with a fierceness. And you can't see the bottom, but that she's in control. Mm. And what do I mean by that? That we are loved, that we're wrapped in the love, not only of our Maker, but those that we have let in our inner circle, that they appreciate us, that they understand our value, and that we are valued. That's what we want. Mm. We want to know that we're valued and that we're fierce. What lioness? Who has the fierceness of a lioness? That she's willing to fight to the death for her cubs and for her family. That's us. Mm. We're fierce. And we need to walk in that fierceness. And that we have the greatest gift of all. And that's the gift of choice. God has given us the gift of choice. Nobody on heaven or earth has that gift that humanity has. Even when we make bad choices, wrong choices, we have that gift of choice in who we love and who we don't love. And that's where our control lies, in that gift of choice. No matter what circumstance we deal with, no matter what challenge that we deal with, no matter what struggles we're in, we have the control of choice. How we let those things affect us and how we affect others. Mm. So for 2021, my goal is to get that message out. Teach women the MAT technique and let them thrive in the lives that they are meant to serve.
I believe that as coaches, it is incredibly important to create the experience of what coaching with us could potentially look like. And when you and I first connected, I just felt this, you're just this beautiful spirit, such fire. And I really believe that there is going to be some people who connect so deeply to your message, to your energy, to this experience that you've created for us today. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It has truly been an honor. You're beautiful, inside and out. I am so honored and choked up by the opportunity to be in your space. And I pray that this continues, not just here, but that we stay connected in some way. And I thank you.
It is our space, my sister. It is our space. I'm going to link your gorgeous site in the notes, in the comments. I know that your focus right now is group coaching. And you also take a limited number of VIP days and one-on-ones. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. And you're open for business right now and 2021. Yes. All right. The last thing I would love to hear from you before we wrap up is, if you were to start all over again from scratch and build the coaching from the ground up, what would you do differently, if anything, and why?
I'd listen more to the experts that God has placed around me. Stop being so hard-headed. And I'd spend even more time with him. My enlightening, my wisdom isn't from me. And every time I take the time to spend the time with my Father, I am blessed beyond words. And unfortunately, I don't always take the time that I need.
Can I call myself out?
Yes, ma'am.
My Bible, it's sitting over there by my bed. I had intentions of spending part of the morning reading. And I think I managed to do it for a couple weeks, and I haven't touched it in more weeks than I had. And I just want to thank you for that reminder. It speaks to me deeply. And it is absolutely where so much is unlocked.
Can I challenge you?
Please. I love a challenge.
Today, what came to my thought was, as coaches, we have a heavy challenge or charge, I guess the word is. We speak into the lives of others. And the thought of saying the wrong thing, giving the wrong advice, tears me apart. And so the only way that I know that I'm not in me, but giving God's wisdom, is to be in his word. And I take that seriously. I am so afraid to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. I feel that.
And I'm sorry.
And it's impossible to do so when we are in his word.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sending you so much love, so
That
much
is the
gratitude. I wish you a beautiful holiday season. Merry Christmas. And I hope to see you again so soon.
yes. Merry Christmas and thank you.
My pleasure.